Hello and welcome to Positive Vibes. Today we have an exciting video for you all. Negative people can have a huge impact on our lives. They can make us feel down and discouraged, and even prevent us from achieving success. However, it is possible to deal with negative people in a positive way. By understanding why they are negative and what triggers their behavior, we can learn to navigate the situation better and even help these people become more positive in life. By learning how to identify the signs of negativity, we can start to build better relationships with those around us. We can also use our own positive attitude as an example for others, helping them see the value of being more optimistic in life. With the right strategies and mindset, we can learn how to effectively handle negative people while still maintaining our own success and happiness. Here are several strategies you can use to manage your interactions with them. 1. Set boundaries. Setting boundaries is an important aspect of managing interactions with negative people. It's important to set clear boundaries with negative people, both in terms of how much time you spend with them and the types of conversations you have. If someone is consistently negative and draining, you may need to limit the amount of time you spend with them or avoid certain topics that you know will lead to a negative conversation. Here are a few steps you can take to set boundaries. A. Identify your own needs and feelings. Before you can set boundaries, you need to be aware of your own needs and feelings. Take some time to think about what you need to feel comfortable and respected in your interactions with others. B. Communicate your boundaries clearly. Once you know what your boundaries are, it's important to communicate them clearly to the other person. For example, you can say something like, "I need to have positive and constructive conversations. Can we please avoid discussing certain topic from now on?" Be assertive but polite. C. Be consistent. Once you've set a boundary, it's important to stick to it. Consistency will help the other person understand that you're serious about your boundaries and that you're not going to tolerate certain types of behavior. D. Be willing to compromise. While it's important to set and maintain boundaries, it's also important to be willing to compromise. Sometimes, finding a middle ground can help to maintain a healthy relationship while still respecting your own needs. E. Enforce consequences. If someone continues to violate your boundaries, you may need to enforce consequences. This could be as simple as ending a conversation or distancing yourself from the person. Remember, you don't owe anyone to compromise your well-being or compromise your needs. It's also important to remember that setting boundaries is a process, and it may take some time for the other person to adjust to your new boundaries. Be patient and persistent, and don't be afraid to seek help from a therapist or counselor if you need support in setting and enforcing boundaries. 2. Don't take it personally. It can be difficult not to take things personally when interacting with negative people, especially if they are directing their negativity towards you. However, it's important to remember that negative people often project their feelings onto others, and their negativity is not a reflection of you. Here are a few tips to help you not take things personally. Recognize that the negativity is not about you. When someone is being negative, it's usually because they're dealing with their own issues or emotions. Try to separate the person's behavior from the content of what they're saying, and remember that their negativity is not a reflection of you or your worth as a person. Be focused on the facts. When someone is being negative, it can be easy to get caught up in their emotions and take their words personally. Instead, try to focus on the facts of the situation and avoid getting caught up in the other person's emotions. C. Remind yourself of your own strengths. If someone's negativity is causing you to doubt yourself, remind yourself of your own strengths and accomplishments. Reflecting on your positive qualities can help to boost your self-esteem and confidence. D. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness can help you to observe your own thoughts and emotions without getting caught up in them. By practicing mindfulness, you can become more aware of your own reactions to negative people and learn to let go of negative thoughts. E. Seek support. If you find yourself struggling to not take things personally, it may be helpful to talk to a therapist or counselor. They can provide a neutral and non-judgmental perspective and can help you develop strategies to better manage your interactions with negative people. Keep in mind that it's normal to be affected by other people's negativity, and it's okay to take a step back and put yourself first. It's important to protect your own emotional well-being and not let the negativity of others consume you. 3. Listen and validate. Sometimes, negative people just need someone to listen to them and validate their feelings. While you don't have to agree with everything they say, acknowledging their perspective and showing that you understand can help to de-escalate a negative situation. By listening actively and validating the person's feelings, you can help to de-escalate a negative situation and build a stronger relationship. Listen actively. Active listening is the process of fully focusing on the speaker and understanding their message. When interacting with a negative person, try to give them your full attention and listen to what they have to say without interrupting or getting defensive. Validate the person's feelings. Validation is the process of acknowledging and understanding someone's emotions, even if you don't agree with them. When someone is being negative, try to acknowledge their feelings by saying something like, "I understand that you're feeling upset right now." This can help to de-escalate the situation and make the person feel heard and understood. Reflect back what you hear. Reflecting back what you hear is another way of showing that you understand the person's feelings. For example, you could say something like, "I hear you saying that you're really frustrated with this situation." This can help to build trust and make the person feel more comfortable sharing their thoughts and feelings with you. Give them space to talk. Sometimes, the best way to help a negative person is simply to give them space to talk. If someone is venting or expressing their frustrations, let them talk it out without trying to solve the problem or offer solutions. Be non-judgmental. Remember that people express their emotions in different ways. Be mindful to avoid being judgmental and try to avoid giving them advice unless they asked for it. Show understanding and support in a non-judgmental way. By actively listening, validating the person's feelings and giving them the space to talk, you can help to build trust and strengthen your relationship with the negative person. It can also help the negative person to feel heard, understood and less alone with their emotions, and help them find ways to cope with them. 4. Change the subject. If you find yourself in the middle of a negative conversation that you can't get out of, try changing the subject to something more positive. Changing the subject can be an effective strategy for managing negative conversations, as it allows you to steer the conversation in a more positive direction. Here are a few tips for changing the subject. Be prepared. Before you engage in a conversation with a negative person, think of a few potential conversation starters that you can use to change the subject. This way, you'll be ready to change the subject as soon as you sense that the conversation is starting to turn negative. Find common ground. Try to find something that you and the other person have in common, such as a shared interest or recent news, to steer the conversation towards a more positive topic. Be direct. Sometimes, the best way to change the subject is to simply be direct and say something like, "Let's talk about something more positive. Have you heard any good news lately?" Or, "I don't want to keep discussing this topic. Do you want to talk about positive subject instead?" Use humor. Humor can be an effective tool for diffusing a negative situation. If you can make the other person laugh, it can help to lighten the mood and change the subject in a more positive direction. Lead by example. If you want to change the subject, start by discussing a different topic yourself. Show the other person that it's possible to have a positive conversation, and they may follow your lead. Keep in mind that changing the subject should be done tactfully. You don't want to appear dismissive or insensitive. It's important to be respectful of the other person's feelings, but also to take care of your own well-being by avoiding negative conversations that drain you. 5. Keep your distance. Keeping your distance from negative people can be a difficult but necessary step in protecting your own emotional well-being. It's important to surround yourself with positive and supportive people, and if someone is having a consistently negative impact on your life, it may be best to limit or end the relationship. Here are a few tips for keeping your distance. Limit your time with the person. If someone is consistently negative, try to limit the amount of time you spend with them. You don't have to completely cut them out of your life, but you can reduce the amount of time you spend together. Avoid certain topics. If you can't avoid spending time with a negative person, try to avoid certain topics that you know will lead to a negative conversation. Take care of yourself. If you're spending time with a negative person, make sure to take care of yourself both physically and emotionally. Practice self-care, engage in activities that you enjoy, and surround yourself with positive people as much as possible. D. Be assertive. If someone is consistently negative, it's important to be assertive in setting and enforcing boundaries. Let them know how their behavior makes you feel and that you don't want to engage in negative conversations or activities with them. E. Get support. If you find yourself struggling to limit your contact with a negative person, it can be helpful to talk to a therapist or counselor. They can provide you with support and guidance on how to handle the situation. It's important to remember that ending or limiting a relationship is not a failure. Everyone deserves to have positive and healthy relationships, and if someone is having a consistently negative impact on your life, it may be best to limit or end the relationship for the sake of your own well-being.